It's finally here, another Dungeon Quest video. If you clicked on this video expecting me to say something nice about the game, you've come to the wrong place. It has been about 6 months since I uploaded my initial feedback on the latest dungeon, Yokai Peak. And with the dungeon coming to an end shortly, I thought I'd summarize all the complaints and criticisms I've gathered throughout my experience. Before I go any further, this video will not just focus on Yokai Peak, but all of the significant updates Voldex has released into the game. Let's start off with the dungeon itself. It's still super easy, of course, and made even easier with the new craftable weapons. As you can see, I do have the mage weapon, the Oracle's Ascendance. I basically one-shot everything solo, and raids are a piece of cake. That leads me to my next topic, rings. Boy, do I have a lot to say about rings. The concept of rings in DQ I don't mind. It's the fact that Voldex has no idea how to properly balance them. Take overheal rings as an example. Overheal rings are the most broken item in the game, and it's not even close. These rings make you literally invincible to pretty much all attacks in Yokai Peak. The normal thing to do in raids now is to just sit in attacks and do nothing. Dodging is no longer required. But how do you get these overheal rings? You get them from the new boss raids, of course. That you can only do 3 times a day, and you're not even guaranteed to drop a ring. It's ridiculous how much randomness there is in obtaining rings. There are 5 different stats and 4 different ring types of each of the 3 classes, which range between a specific value for each stat. They're not that rare to drop, but the chance of you actually dropping a good ring is very unlikely. Alright, enough about rings. Let's go back to Yokai Peak. I have yet to talk about one of the biggest changes within the game, and that is of course Gregg. Gregg is interesting, to say the least. He has a 33% chance to spawn in your run, and drops loot scaled to your level. His main use is dropping the materials that are needed to craft the super overpowered weapons, which if you ask me are a bit of an overkill. If you compare them with ultimates from Northern Lands, which are about a 7% pot increase from a max pot leg to a max pot ultimate, compared to the Oracle's Ascendance, which is an 18% pot increase from a god pot Akuma leg. That is insane for a weapon that anyone could grind for. Granted, it's a long and tedious grind, but the result is well worth it if you plan to play the next dungeon. So, I guess I did say something nice about the game after all. Yeah, not so fast. We gotta talk about the new UI changes. At first glance, they don't look all that bad, until you actually take a closer look. I mean, look at how tiny these health bars are, and why can't you see people's levels except your own? Thanks, Voldex, I really wanted to know what level I am. Now it tells me what level I am in 3 different places now. And why did they move the player stats menu? It was so much better at the top right of the screen. Now you can only see 3 players at a time instead of 5. Why does the settings UI take up 90% of my screen? What was even the point of adding separate categories for the settings when there's only 5 settings anyway? They don't even work! The showability setting has been broken since the start of the dungeon. And how could I forget the amazing new daily rewards UI? It's funny how they made it look like something straight out of Clash Royale. I'll at least give them credit for adding a retry feature after who knows how long. Also, why isn't turning off screen shake a setting? Does Voldex not realize how many boss and mob attacks have an unnecessary amount of screen shake? The Gashley Harbor Kraken, the Aquatic Temple Ancient Temple Protector, and Sarugami and Yokai Peak are a great example of this. Even with all these new UI changes, the inventory and selling menus are the exact same. You still need to manually click each and every item you want to sell, and be super careful you don't accidentally sell a legendary. I can't complain about Dungeon Quest updates without mentioning the new boost potions that were added into the game. I mean, just look at some of these. Speed boost? Like, why? It's so unnecessary when we already have speed spells. And a revive potion? Seriously? That just defeats the whole purpose of playing hardcore mode. Luck boost is a complete scam. HP boost isn't that bad, but they really should have just kept XP boost and that's it. I forgot to mention this earlier, but your boosts do not pause when you are fighting Gregg. I can't believe Voldex didn't add a way to pause boost when they added Gregg. Alright, well, I think that's all I wanted to cover. Let me know if there is anything important that I missed, and please tell me your thoughts on Dungeon Quest as of today. Just as a reminder, I will be making a return to Dungeon Quest when the 17th dungeon is released, so expect some videos when that comes out. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.